Hello, everybody. Welcome. I would like to welcome you on today's webinar regarding Nano Server as a Hyper-V, and this will be first part of the series of the two short series. This one will be regarding the deployment and configuration. Second part will be about the clustering and the storage spaces direct. So today we will be concentrate on the basics. Before we will start with the presentation, I would like to ask you for verification if you can hear me. Please confirm through the Q&A panel. This is also information for you that you can ask the questions through the questions panel on this session. I will try to address those questions on the end of the presentation. Okay, I can see some confirmation. So let's start. Okay, so what we will cover on today this webinar will be short, 15-20 minutes webinar. And before we be short, so my name is Mariusz Busiński, and I'm a senior engineer in Veeam, covering eastern part of the Europe. And as I mentioned, so today we will cover Nano Server. So I will start with some short introduction. What is Nano Server? What is not Nano Server? And later how you can create image for Nano Server, how you can install it, how you can deploy it, and start with some basic configuration to prepare it for the to be Hyper-V server. And on the end, we will finish with some Q&A session. During this presentation, I will also have some short demo to show you how Nano Server will look like, how to prepare it, how to configure it, and so on. Okay, so let's start. First, regarding Nano Server. Nano Server is one of the installation options for Windows Server 2016. So it's new option in 2016, which was released last year, autumn last year. So what option for installation have? So we have usually you may know two installation, full installation with GUI, with the Windows Explorer, with the Internet Explorer, with the all GUI tools interface for the server. But it was big, require additional resources to keep that application up and running. So Microsoft, a few years ago, introduced Server Core option for installation, which is much less graphic interface application, how you can work with it. But in 2016, they decided, okay, that it's not enough, and they introduced the Nano Server installation, which will concentrate. So Nano Server is even smaller than Core Server. And what's the purpose of this Nano Server? So first is to provide a higher density. So to be able to install more and more applications, virtual machines, software with the same resources, with the same memory, with the same CPU is available for our hypervisor. And as it's small, so also current IT industry is going to the cloud direction. So it's also to adopt new options, new capabilities to work with the cloud applications, which usually are small, to have it more and more adopted. One important thing, full GUI option for installation and server core is options you can install when you will put your ISO to your computer, start with your DVD or USB stick, and installation. You can only find two options. So we can find full GUI and server core. you are not able to find the Nano Server installation there. So it's why? Because it's so small, so it has to be customized for your needs, for what you need, and then you will prepare dedicated image. And because it's very small, so how you can manage of such nano server? So it's not only command line like in the core server, but you can also manage that nano server in the exactly same way, like for any other Windows Server 2016. So you can use Server Manager. If you enable Hyper-V roles, Hyper-V Manager, failover cluster, or storage server management tools from Azure, which was recently also introduced in the Azure PowerShell. So that tools can be used to remotely manage that server. But from the other side, this cloud, this server is so small that it's only subset of the core application of the commands which are available in the full Windows Server. So .NET is in the core edition. Also, the PowerShell is only a small piece of the commands and options which can be used on the full server. For example, you are not able to install any MSI application on the Nano server. It has to be prepared on the special packages in AppX, similar like on the Windows marketplace. So that's so this allow to be from one side be small application, small platform, small for the hosting the application, but for the other side give you the option to have more density, and this nano server can be used for the all kind of the purposes. It can work as the host, and I will cover this option today. It can also work as the OS for the virtual machine, for the containers, for the Windows Server containers, for the Hyper-V containers. So that's where Nano Server can work. And to visualize you what are improvements, here are some comparison between the Nano Server and the core server. So even not the full server, but the core server. As you can see, regarding the number of drivers, 73 comparing to almost 100. Number of services, almost half of it. The same for the number of ports. So much less opening ports, less services. So each must is from one side is require less resources, but from the other side is more securable because it's there are some services which cannot be attacked from the outside because they are not there, because it's not there. Also, the process counts or size of the image is much smaller. The pure clear nano server image takes something around 400 megabytes with some additional packages which we'll use today. In my case, it will be something around 700. Okay, and I think that most important or interesting for you the part of the presentation. So now let me share my screen, and the question to you, if somebody can confirm that can see my my desktop. Can you see? You should see Windows Explorer right now. Yeah. Okay. So first, where to find the Nano server? Where to start? So first, over here I have the Windows Server 2016 image. So you can see that over here is the folder with Nano Server. So Nano Server is already prepared as the Veeam image, but there's also two folders. One is with the set of the some PowerShell scripts with the modules, PowerShell modules, and the second are the packages. So if you plan to deploy the Nano Server, you are creating pure Nano Server, and you will have to add one of the package. So the depends what you choose will determine which features you will have. For example, if virtual machine, if that Nano Server will have to be virtual machine inside Hyper-V, then we'll probably install this package, which will include guest integration tools. If it will be host, it will be this package, which will allow us to start work as the host with the OEM drivers. You can see that one of the biggest packages, Defender package, and the next with the size is the OEM drivers. So in this package is set of the drivers, which usually on the Windows Server 2016, because Nano Server is so small. Because okay, with the core server or Windows full server, you can enable or disable some features, because all image of the installation from the Windows Server is already there. So you can, without the ISO, you can enable, disable some features. With Nano Server, you cannot. If you want to modify something, you should create new image of the Nano Server. So this is the basic what was released with the release of 2016. With the time, Microsoft will release more and more packages with additional options. So for today's, I will use the host, OEM drivers, compute is required for Hyper-V stuff, also storage package is responsible for file server, data deduplication, reface, storage replica, all features related to the storage. That's where you can find. Now, how you can prepare it. So you can see PowerShell. So this is the most likely the interface how you can prepare the Nano Server. So first, I will go to my folder where I have the Nano Server. I will import the module of my for the Nano Server commands. And now I have set of few commands which I will use in my case. So what are the options here? First, we have deployment type. So as you can see, so with the deployment type, you can have guest or host type of the deployment. We can select edition. It should be standard edition or data center edition. Just a reminder, data center edition has few features. For example, storage space is direct, which is only in data center edition. And on the next part of this webinar, I will show more about this. So in my case, I will select data center edition as the host. Here is set of the few commands regarding where is my ISO, where my Nano Server VHD or VHDX should be created, name of the machine of the Nano Server, compute package, storage package, clustering. I will enable remote management port and some IP settings. So let's generate this. Ask me for the local admin credentials, and right now you can see that in few minutes I will over here I will have the image for so what is converting Veeam image to VHD image, and then based on the packages I use, it will start and create additional packages, and it will bundle it to my main image. Okay, as this will take a few minutes to go, in the meantime, I will show you how the Nano Server can look like. I already prepared such image. So let me log into to my Nano Server. Okay, so that's how Nano Server looks like after the login. So it's only a recovery console. So you can see some basic information about what's the name, what's the time, what's the version of the server. You can see the networking stuff. You can see some firewall rules. You can see status for the switches, status for the VMs, and the Windows remote management option to install. So this is how you can how it's visible. So you are not too much things you can perform over here. So let's go and make some additional creation, additional configuration for that nano server. Okay, this creation is still pending, but it's for the new image. So now let's work how you can cooperate with it. So first, let's take some credentials. Okay, and now I will create new PSS session to my Nano server, and now I can enter to that session. So as you can see, I'm inside the Nano server. If you will first up information for if you will during the joining creation, you can also add the parameter to join to the domain. If you will create that Nano server from the computer which is domain joined, you can do this. If not, you can join to the domain later based on the blob. So you can make the offline domain join. So this is one of the options. If the computer is already in the domain, then next option, potentially configuration, you may want to execute is configure additional disks. So if I will check what this I have over here, you can see that I have already with this PowerShell. I will also provide together with the presentation. I will provide this PowerShell set of the scripts. You can first find the unformatted partition, and you can initialize the disk and create the partition. A recommendation also from Microsoft side is the resilient file system. Okay, the additional comments. You can do this, and it's good for you to do this if you are not plan to use the clustering. If you plan to use the clustering, please leave the raw format of that server. Next step is some switches. I already have one, so in that case I have external switch, but you can easily create, for example, internal switch, and right now it will verify. So I have two switches. One very important comment: there is bug in the Nano server. When you will create external switch, the DNS settings will be cleared. So after you will create the external switch, to be able to communicate with that machine, to have DNS settings correctly, you have to again the DNS settings. So you can, in my case, it's on this switch interface number 3 because I have external switch there. So I should again set the DNS on that. And then the last point is to some setting like how many storage migrations you allow, how many virtual machines migrations. So such or enable migration. So first let's start this one. So the default path, what will be the options to show? I will migrate over the SMB. Again, next, let's enable migration between the machines. So that's the basic settings, and on the end we can create new virtual machine. So I can create new virtual machine with two CPUs, and on the end start such machine. So machine is up and running, and if I will create the Hyper-V manager, you can see that I have that machine here. I can also make anything I want with that Hyper-V from here. So next machines I can create like in this example from PowerShell, or I can create new machines from here and manage from server manager. Okay, I see that there is also no questions so far. Okay, so let me go back to my presentation. So that was the short demo. Additional materials. If you would like to find more under this link, when you will get the presentation, you will be able to additional materials regarding the blog post and the series about the creation. I prepared this series of 4 blog posts regarding how to create the Nano server, how to deploy it on the physical machine, how to set up what we cover more or less today, and how to prepare the cluster using storage spaces direct, which we also cover on the next series of that webinar. Also, would like to remind you about our upcoming conference, Veeam, which will be in the New Orleans in the United States, which a lot of sessions also regarding the Microsoft. Just reminded that one of the presenters will be Mark Rusinovich from Microsoft. Very cool presentation. You can expect from him, and also some other presentations. Okay, so now I'm waiting for some questions for you. So the first one of the questions is regarding licensing of the Nano server. Nano server is licensed in exactly the same way like the core server or the full installation. So one license, one server. We remember that now in 2016, Microsoft changed the licensing to the core model. So you have to cover all cores in your Hyper-V hosts, and that's require license. So an additional requirements here is that to be able to install it and use Nano Server, your license should have a software assurance from the Microsoft. And the next question is if this recording will be on the YouTube. Probably yes. Later you will find that after a few days you will find the link to the recording on your mailboxes, so you can find the link with the also presentations. Okay, I don't see. Okay, there is one more questions regarding does this version support storage spaces direct? All the storage features is in storage spaces direct. I will cover on the next session, which will be tomorrow. And storage spaces direct require data center edition of the Windows Server 2016. So if you will create the Nano Server image, you have to choose the parameter data center. Of course, you have to have license for this. And yes, is the Nano Server supported to run on VMware? The presentation, the demo I saw today was on the VMware. So what I did, this VHD file, I converted to VMDK file, and then you can start it on the VMware workstation or ESXi. You can also find this in this blog post, which will be in the additional materials. Okay. As there is no more question pending in the questions panelist, so I will stay a few more minutes for additional questions. For all others, thank you for attendance. I will invite you also for tomorrow presentation webinar regarding clustering and new additional questions regarding license. Is Nano Server included only in the data center edition? Or also in standard? Nano Server is included in both editions, but in the data center edition, you have options to use storage spaces direct and a few other features regarding the network stack. So when some replication, storage replication, if I correctly remember, is also only in data center edition, but it's in both editions, standard and data center. Okay, so thank you again for your time, and see you on the next webinars.